This shocking photograph captures a woman strapped to a chair, eyes wide open. Her mouth is frozen, reflecting the terrible impact of the current. This picture sold more newspapers than any photo in American history. Its story reveals how passion, greed, and betrayal drive unthinkable acts. Ruth Snyder hated her husband, Albert, who was quiet, boring, and predictable. He was a magazine editor, always coming home at the same time every night. Ruth wanted fire and passion, something to make her feel alive again. She was desperate to escape the suffocating routine of their marriage. She found Henry Judd Gray, a charismatic corset salesman. He traveled door to door, everything Albert wasn't, spontaneous and exciting. Ruth gave him a key to her house when Albert was away at work. He slipped in through the back door like he belonged there all along. Hotels, secret letters, and stolen afternoons defined their burning affair. The affair burned for months, and Ruth felt alive for the first time. But passion wasn't enough. Ruth wanted Albert permanently gone. She was already imagining what freedom would look like without him. Ruth bought insurance on Albert's life for $45,000. That was a fortune in the 1920s, a substantial amount of money. The policy had a special clause: double if Albert died by violence. That should have been the warning sign, something terrible about to happen. She started with poison, slipping it into his morning coffee. He read the newspaper at breakfast. Albert got sick, but survived. Then she tried gas in his bedroom while he slept, but he survived. Ruth grew impatient, desperation pushing her towards something brutal. It was March 19th, 1927, late at night. Ruth let Judd Gray into the house as quietly as possible. Albert slept upstairs, unaware his wife's lover was creeping in. Judd carried the weapon that would finally end Albert's life. Gray hit him with a heavy iron window weight, striking his skull. The sound echoed through the quiet bedroom, but Albert wasn't dead yet. Albert slept in his bed. His body finally went still beneath their trembling hands. Now they had to cover their tracks quickly. They smashed picture frames, scattering jewelry across the floor. Ruth rehearsed her lines, practicing a shocked expression in the mirror. She prepared to play the role of the terrified, grieving widow. Ruth called police the next morning. She played the grieving wife. Her voice shook with rehearsed emotion about the intruder and attack. She told them how terrified she'd been tied up in the darkness. Officers took notes, but noticed inconsistencies in her story. The robbery was obviously fake to anyone who looked closely enough. Her supposedly stolen jewelry was hidden under her own mattress. The amateurish crime scene unraveled faster than Ruth could patch it. The lies started falling apart almost immediately beyond her control. Both Ruth and Judd confessed under intense police interrogation. Here's where the betrayal deepens and becomes truly ugly. Each one blamed the other without hesitation, Ruth saying Judd forced her. Judd said Ruth planned everything from the very beginning. The press had a field day with the scandal, selling newspapers fast. They called it the dumbbell murder, mocking their obvious lies. Newspapers couldn't print the stories fast enough to satisfy the public's appetite. Every shocking, sordid detail was eagerly consumed by the public. The trial became a media circus unlike anything America had seen before. Every sordid detail of the affair came out in court. Hotel rooms, love letters, and failed murder attempts revealed. America couldn't look away from the scandal crowding courtrooms. Both were convicted of first-degree murder quickly by the jury. The jury didn't believe either story. It was clear they'd worked together. They killed Albert for the insurance money and their twisted freedom. The sentence was death by electric chair, no appeals, no mercy. It was January 12, 1928, at Sing Sing prison. Ruth Snyder walked into the execution chamber, her legs barely carrying her. She was the first woman executed in New York in decades. The press wanted to capture history, no matter how dark. Cameras were banned by strict prison rules for executions. A reporter from a New York Daily News broke those rules. He waited for the right moment, hiding it under his pants. This photograph would change journalism forever, he knew. They strapped Ruth to the chair, placing electrodes on her body. She whispered final prayers in the chilling, silent room. The reporter positioned his foot carefully under the seat. He pressed the shutter the instant the current hit her body. The New York Daily News ran the photo across its front page. The image was blurry but unmistakable. Ruth Snyder died. Her body rigid with electricity, frozen forever in agony. This was the final moment of agony and terrible consequence. The paper sold 1.5 million copies that day. It became the best-selling newspaper edition in American history. The photograph sparked massive ethical debates about journalism and privacy. Did the public have the right to witness such intimate state executions? Ruth Snyder's story didn't end with her death, it transformed. Her case inspired James M. Cain to write the novel Double Indemnity. It became a classic film noir about murder and insurance fraud, cementing Ruth's twisted legacy in Hollywood and popular imagination. Every tale of a wife who kills her husband traces back to Ruth Snyder. She created the archetype for the femme fatale, the Black Widow, the dangerous woman who betrays everything for greed and passion. She destroys men foolish enough to fall under her spell. Ruth betrayed Albert, plotting his murder while he slept. Judd betrayed Ruth, blaming her in court to save himself. Ruth betrayed Judd, turning on him without any hesitation. 3 betrayals, a chain of broken trust, ending with one infamous photograph. One photograph that refuses to fade from our collective memory, burned into history like the current that killed Ruth Snyder. Dark Chronicles. History refuses to stay buried and always haunts us. Human nature's worst impulses never disappear. They just wait.